mode.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar presentation, Increasing Productivity and Efficiency with the EPM Live tool. See what's new in our EPM Live 5.5 release. We do have a few logistics to cover before we get started. Firstly, everyone will be muted for the duration of the presentation. However, should you have any questions, I will be monitoring the chat module, so please feel free to chat with me there. This webinar is being recorded and will be distributed later today along with the PDU information, which Matthew will also show at the end of today's presentation. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to EPM Live Product Manager Matthew Willey.
Thank you very much, Morgan, and thank you all for joining us this morning. So today what we're going to cover is the key features and functionality that were included in the 5.5 release, and that was the last major new functionality release of EPM Live. There's another release coming towards the end of April, which will have more new functionality, but we wanted to take a little bit and step back and focus on some of the functionality that's already in the system that you can be taking advantage of today. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to cover a brief overview of the different key features, and then we'll do a demo and actually look at those features and how they work and see how it looks and feels. So the first feature that I'd like to talk about is the look and feel. So within the 5.5 release, we revamped the entire user experience, user interface. The goal of this was, one, to make it look more modern, more fresh, but two, to make it faster and quicker, easier, and less clicks to get from one place to another to be able to do what you need to do without taking up a lot of your time. So it was a huge improvement within the system. We're really excited about it. We've got lots of great feedback about it. We're going to keep going and keep improving on it and fine-tuning it over time as well in future releases, but it really was a big step forward, so that's something that we'll take a look at today. The next feature that I'd like to talk about is we have a new tool called Upland Analytics. It's a business intelligence tool that allows you to quickly and easily create reports without having to be a super technical developer type of person. So maybe you're a manager and you need to run your own reports and get data out of the system, and you don't quite have a report that meets your needs. The tool allows you to quickly and easily create those reports and get that data that you need on the fly. As well as there's a set of pre-built reports. And the reports themselves can get very in-depth, and you can do drill-ins and all kinds of cool features like that that we'll take a look at. But it's definitely a great tool that allows you to get the data out of the system quicker and easier than ever before. We also have a new form designing tool. We call it Designer Forms. And basically, it allows you so that when you're creating new projects and issues and tasks and things of that nature, you can create your own custom forms that look and feel how you want to feel. So instead of having the standard look and feel of columns just lined all up in one row, you can create multiple rows, multiple tabs, and drag and drop all the columns around and get them where you want it, just to organize the form a little bit better, make it easier for users to see and enter information within the system. And so it's a really cool feature that we'll talk about some of the more detailed features, and we'll actually play with building a form and see how quick and easy it is to do so. The next feature here is integrations. So we've done a lot with integrations, and we're going to continue to do more in the next release. There'll be another set of integrations released. But one of the main goals here was to be able to connect to all of the other Upland family products. So that's a vision that's still continuing. We're continuing to make those integrations tighter and better and allow more features and more capabilities there. But it's definitely a great step so that if you're looking to use any of the features from any of the Upland applications, you'll be able to do so without having to set up multiple systems and have them separate. It'll actually be able to be connected together and give you more access to that features and functionality without the users even really having to know that there's multiple systems there. You just get the functionality that you want when you want it. So also, within the new user interface, there were some new usability features that were added. Things like recent items, things like favorites, and we'll take a look at those and how they work and how they can help you to get to what you need to get to quicker and do what you need to do more efficiently. You can also create items from those areas with a single click. So it's a really cool feature, and it's not only just creating items, but it allows you to edit cost plans and resource plans and all different types of things within the system without having to go and go to the full projects list and comb through them. If there's projects you're working with a lot or issues or whatever it may be, it allows you to get back to them and do what you need to do a lot quicker. There are also many performance upgrades within the 5.5 EPM Live release. So performance meaning faster. So, there's things done with caching on the server side, not to get too technical, but basically we're storing certain things so that when you go and load certain pages, it has those readily available so that the pages can load quicker. So you'll notice quicker load time with pages. We've also done things in the different list views with paging. If you choose to do so, you can turn paging on now, and that allows it so instead of loading 1,000 items all at once, you can page through 100 items at each one, and it'll make it load a lot quicker, and we'll take a look at that. There are some other technical things done to make it so that timer jobs run quicker and don't tax the server as much, just making things as efficient as possible and load as quickly as possible. And I think you'll notice overall just moving it throughout the system with the less clicks and with the faster page loads and such, you'll notice the whole system just feels a lot faster and gets you to where you need to go quicker. Excuse me. We've also done a lot with the resource analyzer within this release. So there's a new setting that you can hit that's called Show Details that we'll take a look at that allows you to see all of the work that someone's working on very quickly, very easily within the resource analyzer. And you can also pop open a graphical chart which gives you some good information about the resourcing and your constraints and things like that right from within the resource analyzer without having to go navigate to a separate report. So we'll take a look at that. Those are some really cool features as well. And then lastly, we revamped and added some extra functionality into our workspace features so that you can quickly and easily create workspace, and there's some new templates in there, and it gives you your own bubble where you can just work with your team and be collaborative and communicate and upload documents and such within your own little bubble that not everybody has to know about, while you can still from within your workspace interact with your project schedule and the things that are rolling up into those enterprise reports that everyone's going to be able to see. But you can do it all from right within your workspace if you choose to do so. So it's not a required feature, but is an extra feature that you can use if you choose to spin off a workspace, either off of a project or create one for a recurring meeting that you want to take your meeting notes in or whatever the case may be. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the demo. So I'm going to go here. I'm logged in to our EPM Live 2013 5.5 demo site. And we'll go ahead and take a look at some of those features. So the first thing I wanted to focus on was the new look and feel. So if you have remembered or if you had seen EPM Live in the past, there's definitely a change in the look and feel. But let's talk about all the different cool things you can do within here. So one, you'll see that over on the left-hand side I have my navigation. And there's different sections. This is my main navigation, which I can use to navigate to the different apps like projects and tasks and risks, etc. If I want to quickly create items, I can click here, and I can quickly create an issue or a project or something right from here without having to go navigate to the actual list. And you notice how fast these menus load. It's almost instantaneous, and this is due to that server cache that I had talked about before. There's some different sections in here, and we'll go through all of these different ones, but you can just see the quickness and the speed. The other thing is you can actually unpin this navigation so that you can get a full view of what's going on within the application here and get more real estate, more room to see and do what you need to do if you want to do so. When you're ready, you can then click on it. It'll pop back open. If you want to keep that out there, then you pin it, and it'll push that back over just like it was when I originally started. So you have some options there from a real estate perspective, and the ribbon can pop in and out to be able to navigate you around. Just in general, there's less clicks to get to places and do things. And the next thing I wanted to take a look at was the recent items and favorites, which really help a lot with that. So let's talk about favorites first. So the way favorites work is you can favorite either items, meaning tasks or issues or projects or requests, whatever it might be. You can favorite those specifically, or you can favorite pages. So let's start with an item. For example, if there's a certain project that I'm always working on, I can come in here into projects. And I'll locate that particular project. For example, this new product development one here. And I can go ahead and just pull my contextual menu down, and I'll say Add Favorites. I can then rename my favorite and call it whatever I'd like. It does automatically put the title of the project in this case in here for me if I want to use that. And I say OK. It tells me a new item has been added to your favorites list. And if I come over here into my favorites, I will now see it as well. So here's this new favorite, new product development. I can then even drag these around. So if I'm using this one the most often, maybe I want it at the very top here, or I can put it down at the bottom, wherever I want to put it. But now, next time, I don't have to come back here and click on this and then click on projects and then find my project. I just come right to favorites. Here's my project sitting here. And then I can do anything I want to that project right from within favorites. So I can view it, I can edit it, I can run a workflow, I can comment on it, edit my project schedule, the costs, resource plan, etc. I can do it all right from here. So it realizes that all of these actions are associated to this project and lets me do what I need to do without having to come into this full view and find it every time. So it's a really cool feature. I've been using it a lot myself, and I know many other people have as well. And it allows you just to quickly and easily, do what you need to do within the system to those things that you're constantly working with. The other thing that you can do is you can favorite specific pages. So pages meaning different views, or the home page, or a dashboard. So for example, let me switch here to my project dashboard. If I'm always coming to this project dashboard, and I want just a quick way to get back to it very easily, I can come here into my project dashboard, and all I have to do is favorite it once. So up in the top right-hand corner, there's a little star. I can just click that, and I'll say OK. And now I have my dashboard here in my view, and then once again, I can drag it around and put it wherever I want it. And then next time I want to get to this project dashboard, instead of having to come in, navigate to projects, and then switch the view, all I do is come to my favorites, click on project dashboard, and I'm there. So some really cool things that just allow you to quickly move about the system and make it a more efficient experience. There's also recent items. So recent items are things that I've recently looked at or worked on. So it's projects and tasks and issues, and any of those types of things that I've currently worked with are all going to list here for me, and then I can interact with them again. So maybe I was working on a project a little while ago, but I forgot to favorite it if I'm not working on it a lot. I can come in here and see, oh look, I looked at Active Directory Upgrade a little while ago, and I can come in and do all the same things: edit plan, comment, edit team, whatever it might be that's appropriate for that particular type of item, whether it's a project or an issue or so on and so forth. So it just makes it really quick. Again, without me even having to favorite things, I can come in and see the things I've been working on and use those in the same way. There's also a section here called Frequent Apps. So Frequent Apps is pretty cool. It keeps track of how often you visit each app. So if I go to Project Center and go look at my projects, or if I go to Issues and I'm working on some issues, it actually keeps track of that. And the ones that you go to most often appear here at the top. So if I'm always going to Issues, for example, and creating new issues, I can come here and I can use my Create New button just to create a new issue right on the fly, instead of having to go into Issues and find that. And it's instead of looking at my full list here of all the different things I can create, it's just my favorite ones within this particular section here, the ones that I go to the most. Within Workspaces as well, we use a lot of the same concepts. So you can see all the different workspaces here that I have access to. I can favorite ones if I choose to do so, remove or favorite those. I can hit Add, and it'll actually put that into my favorites area here with the same drag and dropping capability. And I can even edit my team of my workspace and all the different actions that you might expect within a particular workspace as well. So the whole new UI and new navigation is very simple, very clean, very fast, and just allows you to get where you need to go and do what you need to do much quicker than ever before. So with that said, we'll take a look at the next feature. The next feature that we're going to talk about is Upland Analytics. So Upland Analytics is a great tool that, like I said, allows you to create some reports out of the box, or not out of the box, on the fly, and be able to get the data out of the system that you need to get. As I mentioned, there are lots of reports that you can, that we've created already. Some standard reports that we thought people might like and what people asked for. There's reports for portfolios and changes and issues and risks and tasks and timesheets, et cetera, et cetera. And just to take a look at a quick report, there's one I particularly like under timesheets here, which is timesheet hours by project. So if I'm looking to get some timesheet information, for particular projects, I can come here and do so. I can filter and say I only want to look at specific projects if I want. I can put in specific date periods, so I only look at a certain, the timesheet data within certain periods. Or I can come in and just look at all the data like I am right now. So I can get some quick details about how many hours are being spent on each project. I can see a trend over time of kind of the project ramping up and ramping down over time to be able to see actually which projects we're spending the most time on and what they've done over time, and to see a nice trend there. And then there's even drill down capabilities within this particular tool, so that I can come and hover over, for example, this particular project here. And it's going to show me which resources are working on that project. So the details, it's drilling into those details, and I can see there's 4 people working on that particular project and how many hours each person's working on. So you can see the tool is fairly feature rich, so that you can have lots of different types of charts, and you can do pivot charts and all different types of things. But it's also very simple and easy to create these reports and get them up and running. So what I wanted to do real quick is just create a simple report and show you how easy it is to do so. So I'm going to go ahead and hit New, and then they have a feature which is called Instant Report. So I'll open up my Instant Report feature here. You do have to get a little bit familiar with the data, but it's organized pretty simply. For example, if I wanted to do a report on projects, I come and I find my LST Project Center table, because the name of the projects list is called Project Center. If I wanted to do issues, I would come find LST Issues, for example. But let's go ahead and do projects. So I check that, then it's going to show me all of the fields basically, and it's organizing them to here are all of my number fields, here are all of my identifiers, here are all of my text fields, etc. So it's organizing for me, and here's all my dates, so that I can easily find them. So let's say the first thing I want to start with is my title, the titles of my projects. So I can just simply grab that title, and I'll just drag and drop it over here into my preview window. And this is actually building the report for me, but instead of having to select a bunch of fields and then go look at what the report looks like, it's building a preview of it for me right here while I'm selecting my fields. So it makes it really, quick and easy to see what the report's going to look like before you actually go and save it and view it. So then, for example, if I wanted to show the state of those projects, I can grab the state field. So meaning if it's not started, if it's in progress, or whatever it might be, I can drag and drop my state over here. And then maybe I want to group these by state visually. So I can hit the settings button here, and I'll just say visually group, and then OK. And it'll show me how that'll look. So here's all my proposed projects all grouped into this proposed section here, and then my active projects grouped into this active section here. And then maybe we're trying to get an idea of budgets for these particular projects, right? I can come and I can scroll down in here into numbers and grab my budget field, and I'll drag and drop that over into my report here. Now it's going to show me my budgets. And let's go ahead and total those budgets up so we can see for all of my proposed projects what are the budget, and for all my active projects what are the total budgets. So I can hit my settings here, and I can just click my total button, say OK. And now you can see it's putting totals on those groupings for me. So really within not even a minute or so, I created a report that gets me the data that I want. And I can just keep and drag and dropping and putting all the data in here, and then I can add charts to this and do more. I won't go through all of that right now, but it's very, very simple to do that. And we can come and now look at the full report. If I hit View Report, we'll see what that report looks like. So you can see in the full view mode, I have all my projects grouped by their state, and then my budgets are all totaled up over here on the far right side. And you can add in filters and all the different things that I showed you in that timesheet report. You can continue to add those things in. But you can see it makes it very quick and easy to set these reports up. So we're really excited about this, where it really empowers people to get the data out of the system that they need. So there's also dashboard capabilities in here. One last thing to show. So if I switch here to dashboards, you can then take those reports that you create and you can load them into different dashboards. So we have some different dashboards set up here. For example, I like this issues one. I can switch to my issues dashboard, and I can see many different charts and things all on a dashboard all together with the details at the bottom, and you can organize this however you want and put filters in and those types of things to create really nice dashboards very quickly and easily. All right, so the next thing that I'd like to talk about is the resource analyzer. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and go into projects here. And we'll go ahead and open up the resource analyzer, let's say for all of our proposed projects. Excuse me. So I'll go ahead and select my proposed projects, and I'll open up our resource analyzer. And then for those of you that don't know, the resource analyzer is a tool that allows you to look at the allocation of your resources over specific projects, or you can also open it up for specific resources and see what projects they're working on as well. There's kind of a few different ways you can use the tool. But the idea here is in the top, I'm seeing all the different projects I selected and the amount of work that's being requested for those particular projects. I can show that in FTEs. I can show that in FTE percents. You can just come here and switch the views, and you can see that in different ways. And in the bottom, I'm looking at all the different resources that are working on those projects and their amount of availability. So if it's red, you can see that they're already over-allocated, and we need to give some of the work to someone else so that they're not being asked to do too much. And if they're too far in the green, like this person here, it looks like they need more work, so we need to make sure that we're utilizing our resources effectively as well. So it's a really cool tool, and there's lots of different ways you can look at the data. But the new features and functionality that you can do within the tool that are really cool, I'll go ahead and show you right now. So one thing is, well, what if I want to see what work these people are working on? Well, in the past, I can come in here and I can expand these projects, and I can see, okay, Ed Meadows is working on this particular one, and here's the amount of time. So I can drill into the details here by project, but there wasn't really an easy way within the resource analyzer anyway to see all of the work in one place that a resource was working on. So the way we fix that is there's a new button here called Show Details, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And what it's going to do is it's going to show me exactly what I wanted to see. So I see now here that I have Ed Meadows, and he is, excuse me, and you can see that he is working on these 2 projects. So I don't have to click through all the projects and look for it, right? It's just showing it all right here for me. And I can see how much time he's working on it, and then I see my total heat map up at the top. Now, if I don't want to look at all those details, then I can just hit Collapse All, and it'll collapse it back to how I was looking before, and I can expand, so I can quickly and easily go back and forth and see the details or not when I want to. Then, if I want to see this data in a little bit more graphical manner, instead of the full-on data here with the heat map, I can hit Show Graph, and it'll actually create a graph right here in real time within the resource analyzer, so I don't have to go somewhere else to look at a report, which there are reports that do these similar types of functions. But what I can see here is this line is the amount of availability my team has as a whole, the people that are working on these projects, basically. And then you can see each one of these stacked bars here represents a person and how much time that they're being asked to work. So you can see the team as a whole is doing just fine, right? They're not going over the amounts of allocation required, or available, I should say, for the whole team. But if we drill into individual people down here, we remember that some people were actually over-allocated. So we just need to even the work out a little bit between these 2 people. And we can do that back within the other view there, switch things around and move things around and then republish this out. So it's a really cool new feature that just allows you to see the data in different ways and makes it easier to get the information that you need to be able to make the choices and resolve your over-allocation or under-allocation issues within the resource analyzer here. So that's a really cool tool. We've had a lot of good feedback about that as well, and people seem to be using it and getting good value out of it. The next thing I'd like to show is the designer forms. So to do that, I need to be an administrator, so I'm going to switch here. I've already logged in with my administrator account, and we're going to take a look at the Project Center form. So before I go and build one, I just wanted to show you what forms I'm talking about. So for example, if I click on one of my projects here, it's going to load up the details form for that particular project. So you can see I have lots of metadata around this project, and I have it all organized into sections. So I have my key information and my details and my schedule and my work, et cetera, and I'm actually using the Designer Forms tool to make it look like this and to organize it into these sections and do these things. Without this, it just lists all the columns straight down. If you're familiar with the tool before, or just SharePoint in general, really, you would know what those forms look like. But the cool thing is it's super easy to be able to go in and move these things around and organize it how you want, and there's some different controls and buttons and all different kinds of things that you can add within these forms. So I want to take a step back here, and we'll go ahead and open up the Form Designer and show you how easy it is to create these forms. So since I'm an administrator, I have permissions to do this. I'm going to hit Design Forms here. One of the really cool things is you don't have to download and install anything onto your computer. It's all within the web here. So I hit Design Forms, and it all loads within the web and allows me to then modify this form and do whatever I want with it. So it's all drag and drop. For example, if I wanted to create a new section here, I just grab my table control and I'll drag and drop and put it right here, and then I can grab the fields that I want and drag and drop them in. If I want to put fields next to each other like I have here and have 2 different sections, then I can grab my other field and I just put it at the far right here, and it'll automatically space it out and do that for me. If I want 3 sections, then I can drop in another one and it'll automatically put it into 3 different sections here for me. And you can really just keep dragging and dropping and putting the columns where you want, and it's as simple as that to make the form look how you want. There's some more advanced things that you can do. For example, I can grab my tab control here, and I can add that in, and we can have different tabs. So maybe this first tab we're going to have be key information. And my second tab, let's go ahead and create another one. I'll call that details. Oops. If I could type here, details. And then it's just drag and drop from there. So I'm going to take my whole key information section, and I'm going to drag and drop it into that key information tab. And then I'll go to details, and I'll grab my whole detail section, and I can drag and drop it into that tab. So now I have two different tabs with two different pieces of information on them. And there's some other cool things like accordions, and you can put hyperlinks and text and buttons and HTML if you want to build out some, more of a web page looking style here. You can do that. You can even show related items, like I can show all the related issues for this particular project. Some really cool things that you can do within the form just to make it look and feel exactly how you want it and organize it better so people can see the information and work with it quicker. If you really want to get fancy, you can also add logic into the forms. So for example, if I pick a certain project type, maybe I want to hide a certain tab or a certain section or whatever it might be. You can, if you know how to do so, you can write a little bit of JavaScript and you can attach that here, and it's actually pretty easy to do so once you get familiar with it. And you can do some more advanced features and functions there with the actual logic of the form. And if you want to get more detailed with the look and feel of the form, there's a CSS tab here. If I click that, then I can put in my different CSS styles and such to color this and style it and put my own fonts on it and make it look exactly how I want it to look. Maybe brand it like my company brand and then make it look more like a web page type of format. So it's a really powerful tool. It's all within the web here, and it allows you to customize the forms very quickly, very easily, and get exactly what you want. Cool. So we're really excited about that. I've been using it a lot. I've created a few different templates that are all available for people to start from, like, for example, this particular template they were looking at here for Project Center, and there's another one available as well with different tabs. And it's just cool to be able to go in and make those forms look exactly like you want and make it easier and help with user adoption really as well, because it makes it easier for you to use the system. So the last thing that I'd like to talk about is the workspaces, and then we'll give you all the rest of the information here. So workspaces have been around for a while. You've had the ability to do that, but really within this release we've improved them and added some new features and capabilities within workspaces. So for those of you who don't know, the way you could create a workspace, there's a couple different ways. Number one is maybe I want to create a workspace for, let's say, a specific project or an issue or a meeting, whatever it might be. I would come and I would find that project in this case. I'll go ahead and select my project here. And then there's a button for Create Workspace. So I can hit that. It's going to pop up my window here and let me create my workspace. And I can choose a template that I want. There's multiple different templates available for me to choose to create this particular workspace. I already have some workspaces created here, so I'm going to go ahead and navigate to one of those. For example, my Xbox DVD one has a workspace created. I'll go ahead and click on that. And you can see it takes me down to my workspace. And the cool thing about the workspace is it's my own little bubble, right? It's my site. I can do whatever I want in here. I can invite my team to this site, and I can give just my team access to it. If I want to add other apps into here so I can have my own changes list and my own things that I want to do, I can do that because this is my site. I have access to do it. I don't have to be a site collection administrator or, to be able to come in and do that. But out of the box, depending on what template you pick and create your workspace from, there's some things that are automatically included. So the template that was used here was called the collaboration template, and it allows you to keep a list of to-dos. So if I have some different action items that are going on, but they're not necessarily in my project schedule, I can come to my to-dos list, I can add my to-dos and keep track of all those actions that come out of meetings and things like that around this project. And then those are going to show up in your My Work. So when you go and look at all the work that's assigned to you, the tasks, the issues, etc., you're also going to see your to-dos there. I can also keep track of certain meetings here. So if I want to put in key meetings and keep track of when things are happening, if I have recurring meetings like I have here, you can post those here just so everybody on my team that's working on this project knows about those and can come in and see when those are happening anytime they want. You can also store documents within your workspace. So I can come in and upload all the documents I want, and they're only accessible to my team, the people that are working on my project in this particular scenario. The really cool thing that's been added recently is that you can now work with all of the other data as well. So meaning, all the data that's really at the enterprise level, the things that are showing up in those reports, right? The things that we want other people to be able to see and have people have visibility into. I can work with that as well. So for example, anything related to this project like changes or issues, I can come in here and let's say I'll click on issues, and it's going to show me all of the particular issues that are associated to this project. And just the ones associated with this project because it knows I'm working in this workspace. And if I want to add some more issues, which are actually going to show up for everyone to see as well, everyone who has access anyway, I can come in and I can create new issues and do everything that I'd want to do. So really this workspace becomes my little bubble for my particular project, and I can just focus on this one project and all the things associated to it and collaborate and comment and work with my team. It doesn't necessarily have to be associated to a project. It actually doesn't have to be associated to anything. If I come into my workspace navigation area here, I can come and I can hit new workspace, and that's going to let me create a workspace that isn't necessarily related to a project or anything in particular, but I can just create a workspace, say me and you are working on a particular report or whatever it might be. I can create a workspace so we can go in and just upload our documents and keep track of action items around that particular report. So it's a pretty cool feature that allows you to collaborate and work with people in groups, especially if you're in different locations and those types of things. It can really help bring teams together. So with that said, I thank you all for coming today. So I'm going to put a slide up here for you all. On the very bottom right corner, we have the PDU information. If you're interested in that and you want to get your free PDUs from this presentation, feel free to write that down. And Morgan will also be sending out that information later and posting that with the recording of the presentation. So I thank you all for coming. Have a great rest of your day and hope to see you at the next webinar. So, bye-bye.